Hello my friends, thanks for joining me. Today I have joined in on Crystal's collab. Her channel is Vividly on Paper. This is her second annual collaboration and it is called Enchanted Forest Collab. So she's using the hashtag Enchanted Forest Collab. We were all tasked with making something about an enchanted forest, and I had just got this Snow White book, Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, and I believe I recently showed that in one of my Thrifty Thursdays. I've only had this book for, well, by the time this video goes out, it'll be, a month and a half maybe. But it's something I just picked up. I believe I picked this one up at my local library. And not that you care about the history of the book that much, you probably just want me to kind of get into this. But I want to tell you that the publication date on it is, let's see. Oh, did I cover it? Oh, I might have covered it. So I believe the publication date said it was like 1971. So it is most definitely vintage. Now, before we get into it, I want to talk to you about the outside elements. So this is the original cover. However, I added some hand-painted ivy on it because I just wanted to tie it all together. I have a few layers of material here with some velvet, and I adhered this beautiful leaf. This used to be a brooch, and so I adhered that to the front. Here is the spine, and this has the velvet on it, obviously, as you can see. And this is some vintage trim, and this would have been used for furniture. It was furniture trim, and I got this when I very first started junk journaling. I found it at the thrift store, and I have used it so many times, but very specifically because the color is very unique and it's not something that you use on every project. On the back, this is the cover. I actually did coffee dye this, so it was a little bit whiter, but I coffee dyed it so it pulled some of that into the cover. There's a little stain right here. Don't know if that's coffee or if it came that way. I couldn't tell ya. All right, before we get into the inside, because sometimes I forget when I'm going through the pages, so I'm going to show you the pretty little embellishments. Here's a little embellishment that I put on, a little charm, and I hung this from a bulb pin. And then here's one with some little beads, and then also a silver leaf. Then down here we have a copper colored leaf hanging from a bulb pin. And then, so I don't forget to show you these. There are 5 signature, sorry about that guys. There are 5 signatures in this book. They're not all huge signatures, but I'll explain the reason why of that in just a minute. But I wanted to show you that I put a bead dangle in each one. So hopefully I won't forget to show those to you as I'm flipping through. So this book was a little bit more challenging than I expected it to be when I disassembled it. The original book was held together with 5 signatures, but they were glued in, so I had to soak the book in order to get everything unglued, and then I had to very carefully tear each page apart. Some of them I was able to keep together in like the 2-page, you know how it's like this, but some of them tore, and so I'll show you what I did to remedy that situation as we're going through. So at any rate, here we are, front page. I added some ivy, and then also in this journal was the first time I used my gold, what do they call it? I can't even think what it's called, but you accent things with it. Anyway, if it comes to me, I will say what it is. But anyway, you can see that I've put some on the leaves and on the page here. Now I want to make sure that I'm centered because I don't want you to miss anything. I really loved doing this. Thank you, Crystal, for doing a collaboration, a wonderfully fun collaboration where I was able to express myself in this way. I enjoyed it so much. So there's a combination of the original book pages, which have all been coffee dyed, and some scrapbook paper. And this is the Once Upon a Time scrapbook pack. So you can see that I had adhered the front page of the book to this scrapbook paper. So that's why it's one, single piece. All right, so we've got a butterfly, and Crystal sent me this butterfly, and then I have, you'll see throughout there are some leaves and flowers and little tiny buttons, and you'll see the gold throughout too. This book has a lot of green and a lot of gold. So I did something kind of unique on this one too. So this, if you look here, you can see that the page stops and there's just material in here. This is one of the ones that when I went to take it, separate it from all the other pages, it came off by itself. There was nothing attached to it. So what I did is I attached it to a piece of fabric. So that page is adhered to this fabric, and then the fabric is about this much longer going this way so that I could turn it into its own page that would fit into the signatures. So that's what I did there. I had put some of my coffee dyed paper here. I just tore it, nice rough edge. I love the way this coffee dyed paper came out. It's very unique. And then I had some Seven Dwarfs stickers, so I put those up there, but you can see also that I stitched this material on here as well. And so with many of the pages in here, you're going to see that I added material so that when I sewed them in to the book, it would be nice and secure for many, many, many years to come. Material holds far better than paper does, so this will last a very, very long time. So here we've got a feather, and this is a real feather. This is from my mom's chicken. Her name is Goldie. Thank you, Goldie. And I actually added some gold here to the center of the feather, some material, and a little apple sticker. So on this page, we've got the queen, right? So since we have the queen, I added some red paper, some rich trim here, a button here. This is an actual moth wing that my friend V. Wills sent to me, and these moths are all over her farm apparently. So when they die, she gathers up their wings, and she shared some with me. So I thought that was kind of cool. And just some little journaling cards here. These are pretty small, just enough for a little note about your day, or a thought, or just whatever, whatever you wanted to do with them. This one I put a frog. I thought that was kind of funny. So here we are. I made sure that every page of the book was exposed, but don't worry, there is journaling paper in here, so there's also plenty of places to journal. Now you could still write on this page if you wanted to, and you could use a paper clip to add a journaling note, which I did on the other side, and you'll see that in just a minute. So anyway, oh yeah, here's our first this very simple bead dangle. I just added one little sparkly bead there. Little doily that I used the gold and the green on. Like I said, all this paper has been coffee dyed, but you will also notice that I used some ink. This is a very liquidy ink that I used here, and it kind of bled through, which I think was neat. Then I went through and I used the stamp ink for all of the edges, and I used brown and green. So you'll see the green here, but you'll see the brown here. I wanted it to have a really aged, weathered, foresty look. You'll see little details like this. There's paint up here in the corner. That's a little touch that I added. This blue here is that liquidy ink that I used. It's probably more of like a spray, but what I did is when my pages were wet with coffee, I dipped a brush and I just set it on the corner and then just let it spread, and a few of them I dragged with the paintbrush. So you'll see that this book has a very unique look to it because I did things like that. Let me talk about this. This is the Tree of Life, and this is a paper clip, and it's the Tree of Life here, and I ordered a set of these from my dear friend Gwen at Gwen Offit Designs, and I will be sure to link her Etsy shop in my description box. So here's another little journaling card. It's got the gold all the way around it. I hope you can see that. Yeah, you can see a little shimmer there. Now this is one page of the material, and I just loved it. I thought it was beautiful. I added a little gold to it, but I thought it was beautiful, and I just left it in there as is. So here's a very unique piece of coffee dyed paper that I created a while back. I used a doily, and I tore the edges off, and then used actually a dark brown marker to do this nice rich edge. Hopefully you can see it. Very beautiful, unique piece of coffee dyed paper. I think perfect for a Enchanted forest journal. So here's the, let's see, this must be, is this the middle? Yep, this is almost the end of the first signature, because here's that piece of paper from the scrapbook. Here's a brown pocket that I created, and I made a flower, I'm sorry, and I put a butterfly on here and then put a wooden one on top of it, so it's like got some layers to it. Now the paper butterfly, I added a little bit of gold to it. This was from Dreaming Hearts Company, and I will be sure to link her Etsy shop in my description box as well. So this is the other side of the scrapbook paper, and I added a piece of material to it. This was from a calendar from Thomas Kincaid. I cut it out. It can be journaled inside. I just thought it was perfect because it's a little forest cottage, so I thought that was a great addition. Some material and a button, and all of it has gold leafing around it. There's a name for that, I can't think of it. So here's our second signature. You can see here that I put some yellow lace here, and this yellow lace was given to me by my friend Maria at Maria's Miscellany. Underneath that is some inking. It's the brown inking that I was using. I sewed a piece of green satin onto the edge of this piece of paper. On this side we have a bunny button, so cute, looks great in the corner here, and a little journaling card with a sticker of Snow White and a gem. And then look at that cute little picture. Here we have some vintage music paper. I just put a sticker on it. This is Always Be You. I sewed on this material with these three sparkly gems. There's a little something unique I did also. You can see right here is a piece of paper. That piece of paper, the rest of it is here, and we'll get to it. But what I wanted to show you was that I had to adhere that to this vintage music paper, and then I used a piece of material here to create a little pocket, and there's a little journaling tuck there. And I did that because this was like a magazine page, but it wasn't big enough to make a whole spread, so that's why I attached it the way that I did. So here's some of my green coffee dyed paper. This was one of my first batches of eco dye that I did, and you can barely see the imprint of the plant. It's there, but I sold the really good ones to my friend Lori at Enchanted Dreams 71, so this was one of the ones that was left over. You can see this is some fabric trim here, so beautiful. And this is a piece of purple paper. I put a little trim here, a little journaling card with some flowers and some buttons in the center and a gem. Here's the picture. So here she is. Snow White is cleaning up the house for the little dwarves who she thinks are children. This is another piece of my green coffee dyed paper. Nice rich edging around the corners and the sides of each page. Coffee dyed paper. It's kind of got a cool pattern on it. I like that. Hopefully you can see that. If I turn this down, let me see if that helps that you can see it. Can you see it? Yeah, I think that helps. You can kind of see the pattern. Oops. Sorry, everybody. Alrighty. I'm gonna make sure I'm in focus here. This page has a side pocket. My light does not seem as bright. There we go. Oh yeah. Alrighty. There we go. That seems better. So some of my coffee dyed paper, torn, rich looking, and then here's the other side of that fabric. So here is the page with the birds. And I just thought because this is an enchanted forest, I figured we'd go ahead and put this page in here. I tore it, I edged it with ink, and then also did the gold on it. Here's some beautiful fabric trim, and this is a like paper tag flip. Well, it's not really a tag, it's just a paper flip. And I put some trim at the bottom as well. A nice pocket here with matching trim. Just some green scrapbook paper that I added embellishments to. Vintage music paper. Another pocket here with some coffee dyed paper. This is some vintage lace. I think it's vintage lace. It's lace, I think it's vintage. Not 100% sure though. So here we are onto the third signature. And I missed showing you this. I knew that I would forget, but here's one of the little bead dangles. I'll try to zoom in on that for you. There we go. Okay. All right, we are on to the third signature. This signature has a double pocket. I'm sorry, this page has a double pocket. We have our first pocket here, and then inside we pull this out, and this has a pocket here, a little bit of writing space on it, and then this can be flipped over and written on as well. Another butterfly from Dreaming Hearts Company right here. Little leaf with a button on it. Cute little envelope with some paper inside for journaling. Got a little flower with another button center in there. Oops, this one flips up like that. This coffee dyed paper, this is the eco dyed, and this is really interesting. I had put a small piece of music paper in with it, and it like transferred the image to it, so I absolutely love that. Some nice beautiful trim here. Here we've got a leaf with a nice big button. You can see on this piece of coffee dyed paper the doily imprint on it. This one says glycerin lotion, and I think this is like a Tim Holtz thing, but I just thought it was funny because, you know, she's doing all her concoctions and everything. This is a tag that was gifted to me, and I'm sorry, but I can't remember who gave that to me. I apologize. If it was you, let me know. I'll add you to my description box. So this is a piece of beautiful trim, keeping the signature solid and secure, and it's not going anywhere. And on the other side of it is another piece of trim. And I had to do that probably because most likely this page here had come undone from the book. Matter of fact, it did. I can see right here. I see the material. So I just adhered the page to that material. So on this one, I have the Tim Holtz one that says arsenic on it. Here we have the end of the third signature, and then the beginning of the fourth, and this opens up, and it's just a nice little, nice little spot to journal. Here we have some fabric, a little bit of gold here, and another one of Goldie's feathers. Here we have, I have a few of these in here. This is a little bit of green, you know, it's like a green plant, greenery I should say, I guess. Anyways, this was given to me by my friend Michelle, and her channel is Ladybug Michelle. This is nice and kind of grunged up. Here we have another leaf with material, and then I actually had a wooden apple, put a little gold on it, but I thought that was just so perfect. Here's a piece of my coffee dyed paper. One of my very favorite pieces because look at it, it's pretty fantastic. Here's the center of it. Here is my center dangle. It's just two beads this way. Of course, I forgot to show you this one. This one's really pretty. Look at that. And actually, this was given to me by my friend, Paper Kitty 99. Here I just took, just for a little bit of embellishment, I took a piece of my coffee dyed paper and I tore it and just added it to the edge just for interest and texture. So here I'm going to scooch this over a little bit because here we have, this was also given to me by my friend Ladybug Michelle. And we have our, and actually these rabbits in here, I think those were given to me by my friend RoseMary, You Rock Art. I think so. So we open that up and then there is another piece of paper to journal on. And then another piece of my torn coffee dyed paper that I put a lot of that gold on just to give it some interest. And this could be journaled on as well. Or if you wanted, you could add a piece of paper over it and journal on it. But if you have a dark enough pen, you could journal over that with no problem at all. So this is a gold feather. This is not Goldie's gold feather. This I actually got when I very first started making junk journals, and I actually got that in a pack at Walmart. So here's just a little journaling pamphlet here, and there's some layers and then this little fabric rose. So we are on to the fifth and last signature. So this is kind of an interesting signature. I'm excited to share it with you. All the images throughout this journal so far that have these animals, there's a frog, there's this turtle, there's a leaf, there's several different sorts throughout. This is vintage and it was a checkbook box. And I thought, I knew I'd use it someday. I've had it for a couple of years and I knew I would use it, and now here it is. I finally got to use it. So here we just have some more coffee dyed paper. And here we have a really vintage canasta score sheet, and I folded it up because it was a little bit long, and then under it is another sheet of paper. If you have one of those gel pens, you could write on that. Used some vintage gold ribbon here, and I sewed that on with my sewing machine. Here's our little dangles that I had showed you. We're going to turn this page and you're going to see that this was one of those green napkins that I hauled not too long ago. This was given to me, and so I just sewed them into a pocket. And here are the goodies that we have inside of the pocket. Here's more lace. Really, this sheet is just so rich and deep. All of this was white, and I just really got in there with the inks and everything, and it just looks so rich. Here is a piece of, this is from a book or a magazine, and I thought it was just beautiful to journal on. And then it says, "But the meek will inherit the land and enjoy peace and prosperity," Psalm 37:11. And I thought that was fitting too, because Snow White seems kind of meek, you know. So here we are getting towards the end of this journal, but before we do, let me show you. I did a real pretty gem here for the dangle hanging from the signature tie. Here's the almost the last page. Well, it might actually be the last page. No, we still have a few to go. So here is the other side of the fabric pocket. So I made a few pieces to go. Is that one just, yeah, okay. I made a few pieces to go inside. This was a time card. And I was able to be bulky with this because this has lots of space to be able to slide things in and out. On this side, there's just a couple of pieces of paper here. And actually, this paper right here, there's a few of this interesting shiny paper. This was given to me by my friend Pam at Pamela's Creations. Thank you, Pam. It looks gorgeous in here. There was some red up in the front that also was from Pam, and there was a piece of green of this that was from her as well. So here is another little journaling card that I put some lace on. Not lace, this is ribbon, satin ribbon. and added a pocket. This is the last page, obviously the back of the page, and I was given this flower. Oh, I can't remember who gave it to me. But anyway, I thought, I do remember now. It was Ivy Simpson Bohm, and she sent me, I can't remember if we did an exchange or she sent me a happy mail, but this was in the beautiful, we exchanged flowers, that's what it was, and it's been about a year now, and this flower was in the goodies that she sent me. Here is the back page. This is the back of the cover. I should say the inside of the cover. And there we go. There it is, my friends. I absolutely love it. It will be available in my Etsy shop. I hope that you have enjoyed running through the Enchanted Forest with me and Snow White. Thanks for watching. See you soon.